I was 32 when I walked into my own anniversary dinner and realized I was the only one who didn't know what was really happening. The parking lot of Marcello's was half full when I arrived at 7:30 sharp. My wife had been talking about this place for weeks. Upscale Italian, the kind of spot where you need a reservation and the wine list doesn't list prices. 5 years married, and she'd made it clear this was where she wanted to celebrate. I couldn't argue with that. One expensive dinner a year seemed reasonable. The hostess greeted me with a polite smile and led me through the dim dining room. Candles flickered on white tablecloths, soft jazz played overhead. Couples leaned in close to each other. It looked exactly like the kind of place you'd expect for an anniversary. Then I saw my table. She was already sitting down, mid-laugh, leaning forward slightly while the man across from her said something I couldn't hear. He was tall, clean-cut, wearing a pressed button-down that probably cost more than my entire outfit. I didn't recognize him. Not from photos, not from stories, not from anywhere. When I reached the table, she finally looked up. Her smile didn't falter. "Oh, good, you made it. This is Gibson. Remember I mentioned my friend from college was in town?" No, she absolutely had not mentioned that. Not once. Gibson stood and extended his hand, with the kind of easy confidence that comes from never being told no. "Great to finally meet you, man. She's told me so much about you." I shook his hand and sat down, keeping my voice even. "That's funny. She hasn't mentioned you at all." Her smile tightened just slightly at the edges. "I'm sure I did. Anyway, Gibson just flew in from Seattle. He's only here for a couple days, so I thought it'd be nice to catch up." Our anniversary dinner. The one she'd circled on the calendar 3 weeks ago. The one she'd reminded me about yesterday morning before I left for work. That anniversary dinner. A waiter appeared at Gibson's elbow almost immediately, and Gibson waved him closer like he'd been waiting. "Hey, can we get a look at your wine list?" The waiter handed him a leather-bound menu, and Gibson flipped through it with the casual focus of someone shopping for socks. "Ah, perfect. We'll take a bottle of the 2015 Barolo, the Cascina Francia." He handed it back without a glance at the price. I'd seen that wine before. Easily $300, maybe more. "Sounds great," my wife said, her eyes bright. The waiter nodded and disappeared. I sat there trying to make sense of what had just happened. This man, this stranger, had just ordered a bottle of wine that cost more than my car payment at my anniversary dinner, on my bill. Gibson settled back into his chair and grinned at her. "Remember that time in Professor Whitman's class when you completely destroyed that guy's argument about Hemingway? God, he was so mad." She laughed, really laughed. "Oh my God, yes. I forgot about that. You always knew how to back me up. You never needed backup, sharp as ever." They kept going. One memory after another, inside jokes I didn't understand, references to people I'd never heard of. I tried to join in a few times, asked a question, made a comment. But every time I opened my mouth, Gibson launched into another story. My wife didn't even glance in my direction. It was like I wasn't there. The wine arrived. Gibson made a whole production of tasting it, swirling the glass, holding it up to the light, nodding thoughtfully before giving the waiter his approval. 3 glasses were poured. "Two old friends," Gibson said, raising his glass toward her. "Two old friends," she echoed, her voice warm. I lifted my glass and took a sip. It tasted expensive. It tasted like I was funding someone else's reunion. "So, what do you do, Gibson?" I asked, trying to keep things civil. "Consulting. Tech sector mostly. Keeps me traveling, which I love. Just wrapped a project in Portland. Exhausting, but worth it. Sounds interesting. It has its moments. He turned back to my wife without missing a beat. Not as interesting as what you're doing, though. Digital marketing, right? I bet you're crushing it. She practically glowed. Actually, we just landed this huge client last week. Total game changer for the firm. That's what I'm talking about. You always had that drive. Some people just have it, you know? I took another drink. Some people just have it. Unlike me, apparently, sitting here like a checkbook with a pulse. Gibson kept ordering oysters, calamari, some kind of flatbread with prosciutto. Every dish came without consultation, without even a glance at the menu prices. "We have to try the burrata," he said at one point. "Seriously, it's incredible here." "Oh, we should," my wife agreed immediately. The food kept coming. They kept laughing. I kept watching my anniversary dissolve into their private party. At some point, Gibson reached across the table and touched her arm while telling some story about a party they'd attended junior year. His hand stayed there. 4, 5 seconds. And she didn't move it. Didn't flinch, didn't pull away, didn't even seem to notice. I set down my wine glass. I needed to think clearly. The waiter returned. "Are we ready to order entrees?" "Give us a few more minutes," Gibson said, like he was hosting, like this was his table, his dinner, his celebration. My wife didn't correct him. I stood up and placed my napkin on the table. "I need to use the restroom. Excuse me." "Sure, babe," she said absently, already turning back to whatever Gibson was showing her on his phone. I walked toward the back of the restaurant. The hallway split. Restrooms to the right, kitchen straight ahead. I kept walking straight. At the hostess stand, I kept my voice low. "Excuse me, I need to settle my portion of the bill for table 12. The hostess blinked. "Just your portion, sir?" "Just mine. I had 1 glass of wine and the calamari appetizer." She didn't ask questions, probably trained not to. She processed my card quickly, and I signed the receipt with a steady hand. Then I walked past her, pushed through the kitchen doors, moved past surprised line cooks and dishwashers, and went straight out the back exit into the cool night air. My truck started on the first turn of the key. I put it in reverse, pulled out of the parking lot, and drove away from Marcello's. Away from the $400 wine. Away from Gibson's easy smile and my wife's complete indifference. My phone started ringing before I even hit the main road. I turned it off and kept driving. Somewhere behind me, a bill for $780 was about to land on a table with 2 people and 1 missing husband. I wondered how long it would take her to notice I was gone. The drive home took 15 minutes. 15 minutes of complete silence. Just me, the road, and the kind of clarity that only comes when someone shows you exactly who they are. I didn't speed, didn't blast music, didn't cry or rage. I just drove. When I pulled into the driveway, everything looked the same. Same porch light, same mailbox, same front door. But something fundamental had shifted. I was seeing it all with new eyes. Honest eyes. Inside, I went straight to the bedroom and opened my laptop. Our joint bank account loaded on the screen. And I started scrolling through recent transactions. The usual stuff appeared: groceries, gas, utilities. But then I noticed something I'd overlooked before. Cash withdrawals. 50 here, 80 there. Always on Thursdays. Thursday was her late work night. I opened her laptop next. She'd never bothered with passwords at home. The code was our anniversary date. I almost laughed. Her email loaded. Most of it was mundane: work correspondence, shopping confirmations, spam. Then I saw messages from an address I didn't recognize. The preview text made my chest tighten. Can't wait to see you Thursday. Last night was perfect. He doesn't appreciate you like I do. I clicked on the first one. It was from Gibson, dated 2 months ago. Then another and another. Going back 6 months. Regular messages, increasingly familiar. Plans to meet. Photos of restaurants I'd never been to. Inside jokes that suddenly made terrible, perfect sense. One message stopped me cold. Dated 3 weeks ago. Booked Marcello's for the 14th. Same table where we had our first dinner. Can't believe it's been 5 years since we reconnected. Tell him it's for your anniversary. He won't suspect anything. 5 years. The entire length of our marriage. She'd been in contact with Gibson the whole time. And tonight's dinner, our anniversary dinner, was actually their anniversary, celebrating 5 years of whatever this was. I photographed everything with my phone, downloaded the entire email chain to a flash drive. Then I opened her text messages on the laptop. More of the same, but these were rawer, more honest. He's so predictable. Works late, comes home tired, falls asleep watching TV. Gibson gets me. Always has. I know I should end it, but I'm comfortable. The house, the stability. Gibson travels too much anyway. I was stability, a mortgage payment with a pulse. The boring husband who made everything possible while she lived a completely separate life. I saved everything. Then my phone vibrated on the desk. Still off, but the buzzing made it shift across the wood. I powered it on. 23 missed calls, 15 texts, 3 voicemails. The texts escalated from confusion to anger. Where did you go? This isn't funny. The bill came. Where are you? Gibson left. I'm stuck here. They won't let me leave without paying. Answer your phone. I had to call Janet to bring her card. Do you know how embarrassing this is? You're being childish. The nerve. The absolute audacity. She was embarrassed. She had to call her sister. I was being childish. The voicemails were worse. Her voice cycling through confusion, anger, manipulation, cracking like she was the victim. I didn't delete anything. It was all evidence now. I called my friend Nicholas from work. He'd gone through a divorce 2 years back. He answered on the second ring. Hey, what's up? I need the name of your lawyer. A pause, then quieter. Yeah, okay. Let me text you his info. You good? Getting there. Call him first thing tomorrow. Don't wait. And don't leave the house if you can help it. Thanks, Nicholas. Anytime. Seriously. Call me if you need anything. His text came through seconds after we hung up. Easton Page with Page and Coleman Law. Available for emergency consultations. I had savings. Not much, but enough. Some things are worth the cost. I called the after-hours number. A service took my information and promised someone would call back within the hour. While I waited, I walked through the house methodically. Her things were everywhere, mixed with mine, tangled into 5 years of shared life. Except it wasn't shared. It was borrowed. She'd been renting space in my life while building another one entirely. I started separating items. Her clothes in one pile, toiletries in another, paperwork with only her name. I wasn't throwing anything out, just organizing, making clear boundaries. My phone rang. Unknown number. This is Easton. Thanks for calling back. Nicholas gave me a quick rundown. Tell me what happened tonight. I told him everything. The dinner, Gibson, the emails, the texts. He listened without interrupting. Okay, he said when I finished. First, good job documenting. Second, don't touch her stuff beyond what you've done. Third, Are you on the lease? Just me. She moved in after we married, but was never added. Perfect. That makes this cleaner. Don't change locks tonight. Wait until I file paperwork. Should be ready tomorrow afternoon. Until then, document everything she says when she gets home. Record if your state allows it. It does. One-party consent. Good. Record the conversation. Don't engage emotionally. Let her talk. People reveal everything when they're defensive. Call me tomorrow at 9. We'll start the process. What's this going to cost? Initial retainer is $1,500. We can work out payment if needed. Based on what you've told me, this should be straightforward. She had an affair. You have proof. The property is yours. We'll move fast. $1,500. Most of my savings. But sitting in that restaurant watching her laugh with Gibson while spending my money, that cost more. Some prices are worth paying. I'll have it tomorrow. See you at 9. I hung up and looked around the living room. Our wedding photo still hung on the wall. Her idea. My money for the frame. The story of the whole marriage. Headlights swept across the window. A car door slammed. Keys jingled. I pulled out my phone, opened the voice recorder, and hit record. The door opened. She walked in, makeup smudged, hair disheveled, looking exhausted and furious and caught. "We need to talk," she said. I just nodded and waited. She dropped her purse on the counter with a loud thud, deliberate, like she had a right to be angry. "Do you have any idea what you just put me through?" I stayed on the couch, phone recording in my pocket. "Tell me." "Don't play dumb. You left me at that restaurant with a $700 bill. I had to call Janet. She had to leave her house at 9 at night to come bail me out. The staff was staring. Other customers were watching. It was humiliating." "Humiliating?" I repeated flatly. "Yes. What were you thinking walking out like that?" "I was thinking about Gibson's hand on your arm. About the $400 wine he ordered without asking. About how you invited him to our anniversary dinner and never mentioned it once." She crossed her arms. "He's an old friend. I told you about him." "No, you didn't." "Well, I meant to. It's not a big deal. He was only in town for one night." "Your texts say he's been in town a lot. Thursday nights, specifically." Her face changed. Just for a second, fear flickered across it before she recovered. "You went through my phone?" "Your laptop. Still logged into everything. Convenient?" "That's a violation of privacy." I almost laughed. "Privacy. That's your concern right now. You had no right." "I had every right. Joint property, remember? Same way you had the right to spend our money on secret dinners with Gibson for the past 6 months. Same way you planned our anniversary at the restaurant, where you two had your first date 5 years ago, when we got married." She went pale, actually pale. "It's not what you think." "Then explain it. Explain he doesn't appreciate you like I do. Explain, tell him it's for your anniversary. Explain any of it." She sat down across from me, trying a different strategy. Softer voice, vulnerable. "Okay, yes. Gibson and I have been talking. But it's just talking. He's going through a difficult time, divorce. And he needed someone to lean on. I was being supportive. Supportive doesn't require lying about where you are every Thursday. Supportive doesn't require hiding messages. And supportive definitely doesn't involve bringing him to our anniversary dinner and pretending I don't exist." "You're overreacting." "Am I?" "Because from where I'm sitting, I just found out my wife has been living a double life. Using our money, our home, our marriage as cover, while she carries on with someone else. Nothing physical happened." "I don't believe you." But even if that's true, it doesn't matter. You checked out of this marriage a long time ago. I was just too stupid to notice. She started crying, controlled tears, calculated. I made mistakes, I know that. But we can fix this. Counseling. We can work through it. No. What? No, we're not fixing this. You made your choice every single Thursday for 6 months. Every time you deleted a message. Every time you lied. Tonight was just the proof. She stood up, anger replacing the performance. So that's it? You're giving up on 5 years? You gave up first. I'm just acknowledging it. Fine, if that's how you want it. But this is my house too. I'm not going anywhere. Actually, it's not. Check the lease. Only my name. You moved in after the wedding, remember? Never got around to adding you. Her mouth opened and closed. You can't kick me out. I can, and I will. Tomorrow, my lawyer files paperwork. You'll have notice to vacate, 30 days legally. But I'd prefer if you found somewhere else tonight. I have nowhere to go. Call Gibson, or Janet, or one of your Thursday night friends. I don't care where you go, but you're not staying here. This is insane. You're being crazy. I'm being sane for the first time in months. I'm seeing clearly. And what I see is someone who used me for stability while getting excitement somewhere else. Someone who thought I was too predictable to notice, too comfortable to leave. That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? Fair would have been honesty. Fair would have been ending this before starting something with him. Fair would have been not making me sit through that dinner while you two relived your greatest hits. She grabbed her purse. I'm not leaving. Then I'll make it easier. I stood and walked to the bedroom, grabbed the suitcase I'd already packed with her essentials, and brought it to the living room. Set it by the door. Then I grabbed her toiletries bag and laptop. There, essentials. Rest of your stuff can be picked up this week with notice, and preferably with someone else present. She stared at the suitcase. You already packed? While you were figuring out how to pay the bill I left you with. Seemed like good use of time. I want my laptop. Take it. All your emails with Gibson are already saved. Screenshots, downloads, backups. Deleting them now won't help. Her hand shook as she picked up the bag. You're really doing this? I really am. What about everything we built? You mean everything I funded while you built something else on the side? Yeah, that's over. She walked to the door, stopped, turned back. He left me there too, you know. Gibson. Soon as the bill came, he went to the bathroom and never came back. Left me sitting there alone. Sounds like you two are perfect for each other. I made a mistake. You made a choice, repeatedly, for 6 months. That's not a mistake, that's a pattern. She left. The door closed quietly behind her. No slam, just a soft click. I waited until her car pulled away. Then I stopped the recording. 42 minutes. Every admission, every lie, every manipulation attempt. I backed it up 3 different ways. Then I sat in the quiet house and felt nothing except clarity. My phone buzzed. Nicholas, you okay? Yeah, she's gone. Lawyer appointment tomorrow at 9. Good man. This part sucks, but it gets better. Trust me. I believed him. I had to. I slept better that night than I had in months. Solid 8 hours, no interruptions. At 6, I was up, making coffee, watching the sunrise from the back porch. At 9 sharp, I was in Easton's office. Small space above a tax prep service, nothing fancy. But Nicholas had vouched for him. That was enough. Let me hear the recording. Easton said after we shook hands. I played all 42 minutes. He took notes, nodding occasionally. When it finished, he leaned back. This is good. She admitted to the affair, admitted to lying, confirmed the timeline. Combined with the emails and texts, we have a solid case. Tennessee is a fault state. Adultery affects asset division. This goes fast. What does that mean for me? Means you keep the house since it's in your name. Means she doesn't get to claim half your retirement or savings. Means she has no leverage. I'll file today. She'll be served tomorrow. 30 days to vacate, but given the evidence, I doubt she'll fight. If she does, we go to court and play this. Judges don't look kindly on adultery when it's this well documented. Her lawyer will advise settlement. I handed him a check for $1,500. He gave me a receipt and a timeline. 2 to 3 months for finalization. Faster if she cooperated. One more thing, he said. Change your passwords. Bank accounts, credit cards, everything. Today. People get desperate when they're losing. I nodded. Made sense. Back home, I spent the afternoon systematically separating our lives. Changed every password. Called the bank and removed her as an authorized user. Called insurance and took her off my policy. Every shared account, every joint membership, every connection, severed. My phone rang around 3. Janet. She's a mess, Janet said without introduction. Crying all day, won't eat. Okay? Okay? That's all you have to say? What do you want me to say, Janet? That I feel bad? I don't. She made her choices. She made a mistake. People don't make mistakes for 6 months. That's a decision she made over and over. Silence, then quieter. She told me about Gibson. Did she tell you about the anniversary dinner? How she planned it at their special restaurant? How I sat there like an idiot while they reminisced? No, she left that part out. Figured. Look, I don't want to put you in the middle. You're her sister, I get that. But don't call trying to make me feel guilty. I'm not the one who broke this. I know. I just thought maybe if you talked one more time. There's nothing to say. She'll be served with papers tomorrow. After that, everything goes through lawyers. Janet sighed. She's asking about her stuff. She can pick it up next week. I'll box everything. She needs to schedule a time and bring someone with her. I don't want to see her. That seems harsh. That seems necessary. Tell her to have her lawyer contact mine. I hung up before she could argue. The next day, a process server showed up at Janet's at 10 in the morning. Easton called right after to confirm. It was done. Official. My phone exploded around noon. Not from her number, still blocked, but from mutual friends. Everyone wanted to know what happened. Everyone had heard something different. I kept responses simple. We're getting divorced. She'll have to give you her side. I'm not discussing it. Most people respected that. A few pushed. I stopped responding. By the end of the week, the story had spread. But the version circulating wasn't what I expected. Turns out, Gibson had a reputation. He'd done this before. Seattle, Portland, probably other cities too. Wealthy guy, tech money, liked to wine and dine married women. Big gestures, expensive dinners, then disappeared when things got complicated. Someone who knew him from college reached out through social media. Heard about your situation. Gibson pulled the same thing with my sister 3 years ago. She left her husband for him. He ghosted her 2 months later. Sorry you got caught up in his games. I thanked them and filed it away. The following Tuesday, I came home to find her car in my driveway. Janet's too. They'd come for her things. I'd boxed everything like I promised. Clothes, shoes, books, Even that ugly lamp her mother gave us. All packed neatly, labeled, sitting in the garage. I stayed inside, watching through the window as they loaded boxes. Janet looked sad. She looked angry. They finished after an hour. Then she walked to the front door and knocked. I didn't answer. She knocked again. "I know you're in there. Please, just 5 minutes." I opened the door, but stood in the frame, blocking entry. "What? Can we talk? Really talk?" "No." "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know I messed up, but we can fix this. Counseling. Rebuild trust. You had 6 months to work on things. Instead, you worked on Gibson. That's over. He won't return my calls. I made a huge mistake, and I see that now. You see it now because you got caught. Because he left you embarrassed. Because you lost your backup plan. That's not the same as being sorry. That's not fair. Life isn't fair. You taught me that. Please, I'm begging you, don't do this. I'm not doing anything. You did this. Every Thursday, every lie, every deleted message. You built this outcome piece by piece. I'm just acknowledging what you created." She started crying, real tears this time, not calculated. "I don't want to lose you." "You already did. You lost me the first time you chose him over honesty. You lost me every time you came home and climbed into bed next to me like nothing happened. You just didn't notice until now. Where does this leave me? That's not my problem anymore. You're an adult. Figure it out." I stepped back and closed the door, locked it, walked away while she stood on the porch crying. Eventually, I heard her car start, heard them drive away. The house felt different after that. Lighter. Like removing her things had removed weight I didn't know I was carrying. I spent the evening rearranging. Took down the wedding photo. Put up a picture of mountains I'd taken on a solo camping trip years ago. Cleaned out closet space. Made the place mine again. My phone buzzed. Text from Easton. Her lawyer called. They want to settle. She's not contesting anything. Should be finalized in 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Less than 2 months, and it would all be over. I texted back a thumbs up and went back to rearranging. Tomorrow, I had that project presentation at work. Life kept moving whether you were ready or not. I was ready. The presentation went better than expected. Afterward, my boss pulled me aside. "Strong work, really strong. We're moving you to lead on the Coleman account. Comes with a raise, 15%. 15%. That would cover the lawyer fees and put me ahead. Appreciate it. When do I start?" "Monday. Stop by HR tomorrow to sign paperwork." I shook his hand. Caught Nicholas grinning at me from across the room. He mouthed, "Told you." He was right. Things did get better. That weekend, I ran into Naomi from the gym. We'd talked before, casual conversations between sets. She was a physical therapist, divorced about a year ago. "Hey, I heard about what happened," she said while we were both getting water. "Small town and all. Sorry you're going through it." "Thanks. I'm doing okay, though." "Good. That's good." She hesitated. "Look, I know the timing might be weird, but a group of us are going hiking next Saturday. Bristol Trail. If you want to come, no pressure. Just thought you might want to get out of your head for a few hours." I almost said no. Then I thought about sitting home alone versus being outside with people who didn't know my whole story. "Yeah, that sounds good. Text me the details." She smiled. "Will do." Nothing romantic, just normal human interaction. It felt nice. The divorce paperwork moved faster than expected. She wasn't fighting. Her lawyer probably told her she had no case. 5 weeks after I walked out of that restaurant, I signed the final papers in Easton's office. She'd already signed hers. We never had to be in the same room. "That's it," Easton said, sliding documents into a folder. 60 days, and it's final. Congratulations." Weird thing to congratulate someone on, but I understood. It meant freedom. "What happens to her?" I asked. Didn't really care, but curiosity won. "Her lawyer mentioned she's moving back with her parents, out near Knoxville, getting some space apparently." Made sense. Janet probably got tired of the crying. Parents were the last resort. I thanked Easton and drove home. My home, just mine now, officially. The house had changed in 5 weeks. I'd repainted the living room, got rid of the beige she'd insisted on, went with dark blue I actually liked. Bought a new couch because the old one had too many memories. Small changes that made it feel different. Better. Work kept me busy. The Coleman account was demanding but interesting. Required travel to Nashville twice a month. Gave me something to focus on. On one of those trips, I stopped at a bookstore, wandered around, bought 3 books I'd been meaning to read, ate dinner alone at a barbecue place, walked around downtown observing people. Standing on a street corner watching strangers live their lives, it hit me. I felt lighter. Not happy exactly, not yet, but lighter. Like I'd been carrying something heavy for years and finally set it down. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. "This is Jeffrey Mack. I'm a friend of Gibson's. Well, was a friend. Can we talk?" "About what?" "About what he did to you and your wife, and about what he did to my wife 5 years ago." I found a bench. "I'm listening." "Gibson has a pattern. Finds married women, usually ones who are comfortable but bored, wines and dines them, makes them feel special, gets them to leave their husbands. Then he disappears. He did it to my wife. She left me for him. 3 months later, he ghosted her. She tried to come back, but I was done. Heard he did the same in Portland last year. And now you. Why are you telling me this?" "Because someone should have told me. Should have warned me before I lost 5 years to someone who never deserved them. Figured you might want to know you're not alone. That it wasn't about you. Guy's got issues. Likes the chase. Loses interest after. She didn't leave me for him. I left her." Silence, then. "Good for you, man. Seriously. I wish I'd had the guts." "Wasn't about guts. Was about self-respect." "Still, good for you. Anyway, I'll let you go. Just wanted you to know the full picture." He hung up. I sat there processing. Gibson had a whole history of this. A pattern of destruction. She'd fallen for a con that had worked on multiple people. Part of me felt vindicated. It wasn't about me being boring or predictable. It was about her falling for manipulation. The other part didn't care. She made her choices. Gibson made his. I made mine. Everyone got what they deserved. The hike with Naomi's group was the next day. I was actually looking forward to it. Saturday morning, 8 of us met at the trailhead. Naomi introduced me to everyone. Friendly people, no one nosy, no one prying into my personal life. Just talk about the trail, the weather, weekend plans. We hiked for 4 hours. Beautiful views, good conversation, exactly what I needed. At the top, while everyone was taking photos, Naomi sat beside me. "Thanks for coming. I know it probably felt weird at first." It did, but it's good. This is good. Takes time getting back to yourself after something like that. But you'll get there. I'm already there, just figuring out what that looks like now. She nodded. Well, we do this most Saturdays. You're welcome anytime. I'll take you up on that. That night, I got a text from an unknown number. I heard about your promotion. Congratulations, you deserve it. Had to be her. New phone, maybe. I stared at it for a minute. Thought about responding, saying thank you, asking how she was. All the polite things you're supposed to say. Instead, I deleted it and blocked the number. Some bridges you burn. Some you just walk away from and let the river take them. I chose the river. Sunday, I cleaned the garage. Found old photos in a box. Wedding pictures, vacation shots, holiday gatherings. Evidence of a life that looked happy on the surface. I didn't throw them away, didn't burn them dramatically. Just put them in a box, labeled it, stored it in the back corner. Part of history, not part of the present. Monday morning, I started the new position. New desk, new responsibilities, new challenges. My boss stopped by around 10. Settling in okay? Yeah, good to be busy. That's what I like to hear. By the way, we're having a team dinner next Friday. Bristol Steakhouse. Spouses and partners welcome, but optional. Just a chance to get to know everyone. I'll be there. No spouse to bring, no partner to coordinate with. Just me, showing up as myself. Funny how that felt like freedom instead of loneliness. By Friday, I felt like I'd been in this position for months instead of days. The team dinner was easy. Casual atmosphere, good food, simple conversation. Nobody asked about my personal life. In this context, I was just the new lead. Fresh start. Driving home, I passed Marcello's, the restaurant where everything ended, or started, depending on perspective. I didn't feel anything looking at it. No anger, no sadness, no nostalgia. Just a building where something happened. I kept driving. 3 months after that anniversary dinner, the divorce was final. Papers came on a Tuesday. I signed them, filed them away, went to work like any other day. Life had settled into something better. The Coleman account was thriving. My boss hinted at another promotion by year's end. Saturdays meant hiking. Sundays, I worked on the house. Small projects that made it more mine. I ran into Janet at the hardware store one afternoon. She saw me first, hesitated, then walked over. Hey, how are you? Good. You? Fine. She paused. She's doing okay, if you were wondering. Living with our parents. Got a job at a marketing firm in Knoxville. Starting over. That's good. I hope it works out for her. Janet studied my face. You really mean that, don't you? I do. I don't wish her harm. I just don't wish to be part of her life anymore. Fair enough. She paused. For what it's worth, I think you handled everything with more grace than most people would have. I handled it the only way I could, honestly. She nodded and walked away. No drama, no hard feelings. Just two people who used to be family, acknowledging they weren't anymore. That night, I made a reservation at Marcello's. Saturday, 7:30, table for one. The hostess recognized me when I walked in. Her expression flickered with something like respect. Welcome back, sir. Right this way. She seated me at a different table, better view, quieter corner. I ordered the special. Nothing extravagant. Decent wine by the glass. Paid attention to what I actually wanted instead of what looked impressive. The food was excellent. I ate slowly, enjoyed every bite, watched other couples and families around me living their lives. When the check came, I paid it without thinking twice. My meal, my bill, My choice. Walking out, I passed the table where it all ended. Empty now, waiting for the next story. I got in my truck and drove home. The lights were on inside, everything exactly where I left it. I poured a drink and sat on the back porch. Clear night, stars visible, quiet except for crickets. My phone buzzed. Text from Naomi. Group's doing a weekend camping trip next month. You in? I typed back immediately. Absolutely. I set the phone down and looked at the sky. Somewhere out there, she was probably doing the same thing. Maybe regretting. Maybe not. Didn't matter anymore. What mattered was this. Right here, right now. A man who knew his worth. Who walked away when it mattered. Who rebuilt when others would have stayed broken. I raised my glass to the night sky. Not to what was lost, to what was gained. To dignity, to truth. To the quiet strength of knowing when to fold and when to walk away. I drank, set the glass down, and smiled. Life was good. Finally, honestly, completely good. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.